Thank you very much, Sir Action Slacksuns fan here with Cinder for game number 1 of this best of 3 between Gaimin Gladiators and Tundra. This is going to be a sick series, Cinder man. And welcome home, by the way. Are you jet lagged from your long trip?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? These drafts today has had a lot of really good individual games, but who knows? Maybe we've saved the absolute best for last. Tundra versus Gaimin Gladiators. The heroes that both teams are running here are... This has been a crazy mind game in and of itself, so I really hope everybody out there is ready for one hell of a game. København er klar!
What does that mean? Can you translate?
Do you hate Suns fans?
Well, I can't blame them. As we get into this game, I mean, you're talking about this lineup, Cinder. This is a disgusting zoo lineup, if you want to call it that, from Gaimin.
Yeah.
What can Tundra do to try to contest it?
Well, first of all, stand in front of the tower and make it difficult to take. So in this case, Topson's going to play the Alchemist. I was thinking to myself, maybe something like a Timbersaw could have been a possibility. You know, that archetype of hero where effectively you're trying to just stall, buy time, and get to your items on, in this case, the Luna.
All right, so only tiny time, but 9 class not able to make the tournament. But Sox, I mean, could you think of a better replacement for a position 4? This is a guy that used to be on the old Digital Chaos team that I was a part of, Cinder. And then I remember when we were trying him out, both Bulba and I were like, this is the best position 4 I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And I think the cool thing with this meta is because these heroes scale so well and they go into the late game. Remember when he was, you can see a big concoction here on the Quinn, but he will live. The fact that these Marana type heroes, these position 4s that scale, when he was ranked 1, 2, and 3 in the world on the leaderboards, he played carry, not support in those situations. So that's another guy to look out for.
Yeah, it's cool how when you're good at Dota, you're just good at Dota, you know? Like, there are some players that choose to truly specialize and only play more or less one role their entire career. And in terms of pro play, Saksa is that guy as well. Yeah. But he just has a very wide repertoire, and I think there's something good to be said about trying all the roles out, whatever level you play on. Whether you're a pro player or you're a 4K player, like, diversifying your pool gives you a different and deeper understanding of the game. And I think that's part of his X factor. Nice arrow.
Blood grenade. Yes, I believe that will be first blood going the way of Tofu. So Gaimin Gladiators first on the board. Beautiful arrow.
Damn. Just, you know, maybe we shouldn't talk about players. It's just setting them up for failure here.
Yep, true.
But guess what? Pure can recover from this because he is playing an excellent tournament. So this is not going to shake him at all because that's not a problem he has anymore. So, okay, let's look a little bit at some other lanes here. I think this top lane, it's dangerous, to be fair. The Brood can very easily snowball, and I think the problem for Tundra really kicks in when Ace hits level 6. Then I just don't really see this ET Luna lane staying at all, and you probably need to move your pieces around a little bit for Tundra, but until that point, you have some pressure plays of your own. I think especially the Alchemist, knowing that it's Topson and how he likes to do surprising stuff, I think that's actually going to be the hero to watch, even at the 6-minute mark. Could easily see him TPing to a side lane and trying to get something done with a higher level of concoction. Bottom lane for Tundra, I think this is the worst news of the series. As Fear pointed out, the Lone Druid matchup is really rough for Mars. But guess what? Ramses is actually doing quite well for himself so far.
Yep, not too shabby at all. And yeah, he's been very solid as an offlaner. Of course, played most of his career as a position 1, so it's been an adjustment over the last few years for him. But this mid lane, one lane we haven't really talked too much about, is the Storm Spirit for Quinn versus Topson's Alchemist. And so far, Topson is doing quite well.
Yeah, I think nowadays a lot of melee heroes that used to maybe struggle a little bit more against Storm do better. I would say Alchemist always would do okay in this matchup. You throw down the acid spray and you get some CS, and if Storm wants to come in for CS, especially in the past, you had to walk into the acid spray. Nowadays you can kind of go around it with the static slide, but yeah, Alc should be fine here. And of course he has the benefit of starting with additional gold, with the seed money facet. How did the first bounties go? That was a 3-for-1 split for Tundra as well, so even more went in their favor before the lanes actually began.
Well, I want to talk a bit about the bear. Obviously, that was a big discussion for the panel. Dyrachyo, not known as the lone Druid player. Ace is typically that. Yeah. A little bit of a fake up, so you get the Brood in the off lane now, and Dyrachyo for the lone Druid. This facets in there, where you only get 3 slots, which just clicking on the hero just looks weird, first and foremost. But secondly, Have you seen this in play yet?
I've not seen it in a pro game. I've seen it in pub games, and I think what people usually go for is something like what Duracho is doing here. You just get some really cost-efficient, smaller items. He's going to start out with the Bracer here. I would imagine the second circlet turns into a Wraith Band. Let's see. He's actually not going to complete that one for now. He's working on treads by the looks of it. But yeah, I think it's really strong, and more so than anything, I think it's really strong for the way Gaimin Gladiators play the game, right? They are a team that a lot of the time, we've talked about this in a lot of their series, that you hit that 20-minute mark and it's like they flick a switch and then they just decide, okay, now we want to win. Now we feel like ending this game. And you have a facet like this that just empowers your hero with fewer items. Talk about a match made in heaven for this team, right? Like that is when they want to peak anyway. So you're just making them stronger at the timing that they had with the previous facet.
Yeah, that's true. I never really thought of it that way. That's definitely true. I'm confused why we haven't really seen it for Duracho, why they're bringing it out now.
A lot. There's been a lot of teams that have first phase banned Lone Druid against them, and sometimes it's made it through to the second phase and then been banned. And Gaimin didn't first pick it this series either, right? It was a second phase pick.
Yeah.
It did rate Mirana over everything, which I think is very understandable. I think Solar Flare has been the spell of the tournament.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It is incredibly good, and they've built a lineup here where they have 3 cores that all benefit a ton from this physical damage that Mirana's going to give them. A lot of the time when we see lineups with Mirana, like maybe 2 cores use it, but here it's all 3. I wonder if it works on the bear.
Oh boy. I guess we'll find out a little bit later.
Bear is a little bit of a pseudo hero with certain abilities. I mean, I'll try to keep an eye out for it.
It can pick up runes, you know, so why not?
If it works on the bear, that is actually just dirty.
Yeah, well, that's your job to click and find out, all right?
I'll keep an eye on it.
I'm sure you're forgetting about 30 seconds.
You know me so well.
By Thompson, but he did get that regen rune, so he's going to be super happy about that. That is the first power rune of the game. See how he actually uses it to potentially... I mean, how much maneuverability do they have to try to get some kills early on?
Well, both teams do have rotation power, right? The Storm is obviously the easier one to execute because you have so much reach, and with the regen rune, as you mentioned, that should be absolutely no problem. I think they're even, they're going to bring him in here. Tofu's going to connect and pop that smoke, and the regen's off. So first move of the game from that mid lane should be coming the way from Gaimin Gladiators toward that top lane. And Tundra, they might have to read here with Thompson in his tower.
Yep, they zip on in. Whitemon looks super dead. Tofu's going to join the party. Starstorm is there as well. Pure on the run. That regen's still going for Quinn. The Lucid Beam connects, but just too many heroes as Gaimin Gladiators with a 3-0 start to this game.
Pretty rough start here from the side of Tundra. Close
the fact that the Wisdom rune is still up for Gaimin, by the way, it just shows how busy they are doing other things.
Yeah, unimportant.
All right, concoction from Thompson. He's going to show himself. Obviously, if he can kill those spiders, that is going to be a lot of money for him. So Ace does have to be a bit careful for that.
It's quite difficult, though. He can't target the spiders themselves, so he either needs to run into them and explode, or he needs to throw them on a hero that's next to spiders, and Ace has tons of experience on this hero, so unlikely.
Eventually, Tofu takes the Wisdom. Okay, so if I don't know if you want to say that they're on a time limit here, but Gaimin obviously are going to ramp up really fast, right?
It's going to go fast.
For Thompson's build, what would you like to see? Because we've been seeing the Radiance as the typical go-to.
Yeah, we also haven't seen Alk mid. Right, I think this is the first game of the tournament, correct me if I'm wrong. At least I don't recall seeing a game that this was.
Yeah,
it's mainly been the carries. I think Radiance is too slow, but the question, like the old mid Alchemist build that some players would go for would be Solar Crest. I'm actually clearing out the Radiance now. It's high risk, high reward. I can't say I love it because I'm a little bit concerned.
First arena of the game will be reserved for Celery, and that's the first kill from Tundra. I mean, they're only down 1,000 at this point, so has not snowballed in Gaimin's direction quite yet, but good to get on the board nonetheless.
Is of course worth keeping in mind when looking at the gold that there is an Alchemist on the dire side. I just think this game particularly, the pace might just be so high that he gets this Radiance and then they're pushing high ground. Like that is a possibility here.
Yeah.
Already now taking over that mid tier 1 and the top tier 1, so 10 minutes in. 10 minutes in.
Nice voice line. Go buy it in your Dota 2 store right now.
Yeah. It's nice when your players and co-casters advertise for your.
He really needs it, guys. He needs this win.
Drums, mech, plus 1 additional aura item and an Aegis, and they could even think about it. So 5 to 10 minutes is a real possibility.
By the way, I just thought of something which is very unique for me.
Yeah, that's a first.
So these necrotic webs from Ace, they reduce regen by 30%. Chemical Rage is regen. So
Yeah.
if he's in, oh boy, Pure about to get completely surrounded. 2 tomatoes, a porcupine, and then some Gaimin Gladiators heroes as well. The 3rd death for him in this game. Boy, we really cursed him. Good lord. Soxa trying to pressure the tier 1 tower. In the meantime, Quinn will casually right-click him down. Soxa does not have his ult yet, so feels like, oh, he's actually regenerating quite a bit as Quinn running out of mana, but eventually does get the kill.
I will say, so you say we're cursing Pure, but I think if anything, this goes to show when one of the best carries, if not the of the tournament in terms of performance individually so far, is this much in trouble, it goes to show that Gaimin's prep and their strategy is really strong.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because Pure has not had this much trouble in any game this tournament that I can remember, just getting absolutely run over, and his plan B is getting countered too. So now it's time for plan C. We'll see how long he gets to play this one before they take away the next area of the map. Ramses will be acting as wall here, but can't cover it alone, so they're going to need to bring in the enchant as well. Arrow, gonna connect on Whitemon, no dive available. But Gaimin Gladiators own 60% of the map. We're 10 minutes in.
Yep.
It is a major concern for Tundra, and they need to very quickly get to something meaningful, and it's not going to come from Pure. So the guy you're looking at right now is Thompson getting his first big eye up. That's not the way to do it. I think denying yourself with a concoction at the Ancients is not a get-rich-fast scheme.
Maybe he knows something we don't, Cinderin.
Yeah.
Oh dear. That's going to slow him down a bit.
A lot of damage.
Yeah, that stack will give him Radiance though, if he can eventually finish it. But while he's thinking about that, the tier 2 tower top is gone.
It's, would you believe it? They've made us patch to this game, so now there's 2 tormentors. And he found the second one. Soxa. He is dead.
Very dead. Does have his ult now, but still, just too much damage. And bottom lane, Dyrachyo. He is surrounded. There's the arena. He clips coming out of Thompson. Dyrachyo somehow kills Ramses before. And now Pure will get the trade, so not as clean as you would like if you're Tundra, but you do take out Dyrachyo at the very least.
He traded in a 1v4 and forced like 2 or 3 TPs to that tower. It doesn't get much better than that. Okay, he had Hand of God, so let's call it a 1.2 against 4. That was, the fact that he gets that outcome, I think he's pretty happy with it. Sure, yeah, he's a nice kill for Tundra and all, but again, now you've effectively, what this play did is it forced all of Tundra down in this area now. And for Gaimin Gladiators, this gives you the option of, we talked about constricting the map. Are you going to try to flush them out of this area now? And if so, where are they going to go? You have Vision top. You know the Storm is inhabiting that area. He just lives up here now. It's his new home.
Well, showing off the Radiance is Thompson, so do have to be a lot more careful with those little spiders. I assume, I mean, he's going to have to go like a Blink BKB or something to that effect as Ramses will find Quinn, or is it the other way around? 9-2 start for Gaimin as, again, you talked about it, 5K lead against a core Alk. As Thompson, he will run into Dyrachyo, no off the concoction. Yep, Pure's in the area as well, gets off the Lucent Beam. Here comes Tofu though, trying to block them out, puts down the GG branch. Dyrachyo's stuck in a corner, big kill for Thompson. Showing some signs of life is Tundra. And Quinn, pretty low on mana, but he does have the rune bottled, as Thompson will be stunning himself again.
On Thompson, he's barely ahead of Brood.
Yeah.
He's a mid-Alk, and they have about the same GPM going on here, so.
Okay, is this build that Dyrachyo is going for normal? He's going Gleipnir on the ranged lone druid, so the bear's not nearly part of this strat, it seems.
I mean, this is such a new thing for me that I don't really have much of a.
I mean, there was a time when this was a thing, actually, as Pure will be able to TP out just barely.
That was very close.
There was a brief 1-week window in Dota 2 history where ranged lone druid was a thing.
What voice line is that? Wait, what? That's a Luna voice line?
I guess.
Hell yeah.
Purchase it now at the Dota 2 store.
I love Luna.
Along with Cinderins.
Very good.
Well, Pure's gotten a little bit of space, but we can see in terms of the net worth, still bottom of the cores, and on a Luna, that is very bad news. Getting a little bit closer to his eventual Manta style, though, which will help amplify the farm quite a bit, but he needs time, Cinder. I'm not sure if he has it.
And now the pipe comes out for Brood. So mech pipe complete. I'm assuming the Greaves are next to follow. Chen with the drum, soon a Solar Crest. Lone Druid with the Gleipnir as well in 50 gold. Tofu now has the Shard, so he's not going to rest. So that's how it goes. All right, I believe it's time for Big Stone Man to meet half the population of the world of Dota.
Yes, that's quite the
This
zoo
is
they've
quite
got
the
here.
home invasion here. All of them. This is like 50 units on road.
He's spotted, so he will likely just be the trade for Roche here. And the Aegis will be taken by Quinn, as we've talked about many a time, one of the best Aegis carrying heroes in the game. Nothing's changed.
So the thing is here, we talk Gaimin Gladiators up in what position they are in the game, and I still feel like you have the feeling that it's impending, right? That they have this insane push coming. But the thing about a strategy like this is, if you trip up once, if they have one failed push, their lineup could extremely quickly run out of steam against the lineup of Tundras. And they botch.
That went really well. The Echo not quite enough. He zips away just in time.
How cool is Celery to not Hand of God there?
He probably just forgot.
Good luck, Quinn.
So he did have Aegis, so wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, but Saksa, he's going to be found and eventually will be brought down as well. In the meantime, we have Doracio's bear. Who's like, what does this bear even have on it? It's just branches, for God's sake. But they're going to come with some backup. It's Pure in the backside, be able to take out Doracio in tow. Quinn, he gets the kill. Ace actually gets the kill on Thompson. And the Aegis still remains online for Quinn.
That is still a very nice kill for the side of Tundra. Sure, you lose your Alk, which sucks, but you killed the bear twice. He resummoned and died instantly on that lone druid, and this is going to buy them a little bit of breathing room.
He's barely using the bear, Cinder. It has branches on it.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter.
It doesn't yet. Yeah. Maybe
He has committed his life to being a bear.
I could see that. Yeah.
So if anyone would know what to do here, it would be him. But unfortunately, we don't have him. I can't phone a friend right now. That is against arena policy when broadcasting.
Oh, Ramsey gets a nice spear onto Quinn. There's the hand of Gaimin to keep him healthy. Thompson now on the run. Doesn't have his ult for another 20 seconds, so... And of course, he's in these webs, so it's not nearly as effective. As Quinn will use most of his mana, in fact, just to zip away to the other side. So neither side really looking for a full fight yet. And Pure showing himself level 17, has the Manta, Dragonlance, and what's next? Looks like he'll actually finish the Hurricane Pike.
Yeah, I think he wants a way to reliably disengage from the bear.
Life near initiation.
Speaking of.
Into the arrow, Saksa's dead.
Yeah.
Good start here for Gaimin.
That was their smoke pop, though. They still have Quinn smoke, but the rest are now visible, so I think Saksa might have just taken that one for the team. And once again, let's keep in mind that the name of the game here for Tundra is not winning fights, it's staying alive. You know, very rarely, a lot of the time when we cast, I'm a champion of, you know, you gotta take low percentage plays to get back in the game or whatever.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time when you look at this game state as Whiteman is dead, that will be what I would be preaching is, all right, the Dire have to group up, make a smoke play and try to get something done to stabilize the game and get back. But in this particular game, the solution is actually to farm. You just dodge, dodge, dodge. It's hard. It's hard to play that way, but I do think it's the best solution. And these teams are obviously world class, so they can pull it off. I would not advise people to use split push as their primary strategy in Dota in the last couple of years, but sometimes it's the way you gotta do it. And they've, in my opinion, done a pretty admirable job at equalizing this game. 7k gold lead, you have Alk. I know it's not pretty, but it's definitely not out of the question. Now, what auras do Gaimin Gladiators have left to buy? So Chen just finished Blads. They have Pipe Greaves. They have Solar.
So, and AC.
Yeah, so Shiva AC is still missing. I don't know if they want either of them right now.
Arena, the mid spear doesn't really matter though. Celery is basically a creep within here. And company will doesn't matter. Actually going in with the harpoon, doing so much damage to the ward. Ramsey's just abandoned by his team as Thompson will concoct and attempt to run. He might be stunning himself, but the arrow is upon Saksa again. We've seen it time and time again in this game. As now Gaimin Gladiators on the footsteps here of the base Tundra.
And I was talking about how for Gaimin's side, if they mess up a push, this is the kind of type of game they can solve. But you got to look at the other side.
Oh, that's a lot of damage on the Quinn. He better be careful. Does not have the Aegis here.
I'm still defending us only 3 for now, so this is a pretty good sign for Tundra. If these 3 can hold the tower on their own with just the threat of a potential buyback, that is very good news for them.
Pure. Yeah. Gets initiated. HP's in a lot of trouble. He is dead for a full minute. And now you have to worry about the zoo from Gaimin Gladiators.
They just did the hard part of this defense, and then they walked outside of...
He just got buyback. He just got buyback on Pure.
He does not want to have to spend this here.
No,
it
absolutely
is really,
not. But
really expensive.
They're going to lose a lot here. Crimson will delay just a bit. They'll have another fortification refreshed here. After the melee axe goes down, they likely will have to give up this set, though, surely. The Harpoon initiation. Saksa dead again.
Yeah, you don't really expect to be harpooned by a ranged lone druid, do you? It's not really... There's no, how to say, frame of reference for that one. Genuinely time with everything Gaimin has. This is a very quick claim. Tundra might just turn tail and run here. I think without information, this play is just so low percentage. They might be better off.
Pure's actually sticking around.
Okay.
Yeah. They can see that somebody's taking some low to save, and they must be punished for their transgressions. Eclipse used on a tofu. That's a BKB! How? Quinn popped his BKB. Everybody's golden on Gaimin Gladiator side. And Pure take a breath of the damage. Actually, inside the arena, getting really low. Finally, the Luna drops. It's at the cost of the Brood, though. And remember, Aegis still there for Quinn. They just picked it up. Thompson now attempting to pursue. Gets feared away. Ramsey with a nice rebuke to end Tofu finally. As Saksa died for the 100th time this game. As Duracho continuing to just right-click away with this Echo Saber. Ramsey's the last remaining member of Tundra. About to fall. Full team wipe for Gaimin Gladiators.
And Quinn is beyond saw in that fight how low the heroes actually got on the side of Gaimin. They almost made it through them. They got through the Brood, and they had multiple heroes in like 10%. It was not far off.
Yeah, we can watch the replay here.
But this opener is just ridiculous.
The fact that he has BKB.
He had a big Lotus
I
BKB
can't get over
leap.
that. God, Dota is hilarious now. It really is.
But the arena from Mars was insane.
Thompson finding an opening onto Duracho, picked up a Scotty, so he is mega tanky. Gets feared away of his own arena as well. Pure with the Eclipse, trying to take it with Duracho. With his bear, he's finally going to be brought to an end. Quinn, Aegis still online. Will not try to waste it here and back away.
Little bit of a slip up there. It's sure it's just one core, but every core death is a minute of farm, and it is progression. This Luna will reach a point of critical mass that will become a problem for the Radiant lineup. I don't think they can feel completely safe just yet. Butterfly is within reach. We're looking at about 2,000 gold for Pure before he completes that one. And on the Alchemist, the AC, similar story, maybe 2.5. So those two items, that evasion, that armor, is going to negate a ton of what Lone Druid is bringing to the table. Oh, God. Is going to find some friends.
That is so sad. They baited the bounties.
So it is a little bit savage that he just has his bear run out in front of him. It's maybe a little bit uncalled for. Anyway, high ground attempt potentially.
So in ranged form, he has almost 5,000 health, by the way. In ranged form.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Absurd.
That is actually
that is insane. Well, they might be catching Ramses here. Quinn gets loses speed. Electric Vortex is there, taking a lot of damage from Socks on the other side, though. Ramses finally uses his arena and dies shortly after. And Quinn continue on with that BKB. Toxin concoction onto 2 BKB targets because everybody has that item on Gaimin Gladiator side. 2 dead for Tundra. And just like that, we're in a 5 versus 3, not including Aegis. And they're building to a match.
Uh-oh, another kill.
Yeah, opening up onto Saksa again. Having a really rough game. Still 2 cores alive for Tundra, but surely they cannot defend this.
This is minimum megas if that's what they want. They could even just full-on push for tier 4s.
Yeah, they will try. That massive siege damage from the Duracio's bear with the branches still in his inventory. And they're going to try to go on top of the Luna. Pure dead again.
AC
have all right. And Thompson, last remaining member for the time being, inside of his fountain. Just trying to kite them. Duracio's bear. GG is called. Gaimin absolutely manhandled Tundra in game number 1. And just now cross out Synderen's name.
Yeah.
Right now.
That's probably the thing you should be doing, yeah. What a switch up, can I just say. This is 9 new heroes compared to last game, and if you want to count that the Alchemist is on the opposite team, it's actually 10.
Yeah.
So complete switch up. We were talking about how Tundra needed to make some adjustments. They made all the adjustments they possibly could. They didn't even prioritize their own Mars as #1. They went for the Shadow Demon on Saksa, which in my opinion might be one of Saksa's top 3 best heroes of all time, together with his Tusk, and I don't know what the third one is. I should not have dug that hole.
Okay, good job.
But definitely for the side of Tundra this time around, and I think no matter what happens, it's very unlikely to follow the same trajectory of the previous game, right? Like the lineups are just too different.
Well, you say that now. I mean, I'm not sure. We'll see.
I might have to eat those words in 20 minutes.
Yeah, well, Gaimin have, it feels like they're predictably unpredictable in a way, where you know the kind of strat they're going to be using, but you don't know how they're going to do it exactly. Like with what heroes, let's see if they can do it with 5 brand new heroes. But they do play fast pretty much every single time.
Yeah.
So Tundra's all about defending. I mean, what is the best strat against Gaimin, would you say? Just like as a mindset? Like, get to a certain point of the game and we're golden kind of thing, or?
I definitely think the #1 thing you don't do is be too greedy. I think that's the biggest Achilles heel that a lot of the teams, and I want to say especially the Chinese region, has struggled with against Gaimin Gladiators the last 2 years, is that they have picked 2 weak lanes and heroes that need to farm too much.
Yeah.
And then they lose the lanes and they lose the mid game and they never get to play their lineup. So I think the #1 foundation playing against this team is you need to be competitive in lanes. You don't have to win them, but you need to do well enough that you can get to stage 2 of the game, and then you need to out-execute them, in particular, I would say, in one team fight. If you beat these guys in one team fight between minute 15 and 20, a lot of the time that can be enough. We've seen Gaimin bleed at this tournament in multiple games where a team just outplays them once or twice and the script kind of falls apart. The problem is that they're so extremely good at playing this way that you really have to bring your A game, whereas maybe against certain other teams in this tournament you can, you know, play maybe at 85% of your potential and it might cut it. Against Gaimin you generally need to bring like 95 plus. It's a very tight window you need to hit every game.
Well, the winner of this series gets the pleasure of facing off against Team Liquid, which Gaimin versus Liquid would be, what, the 100th time this year, I think?
Yeah.
And Liquid have lost every single time, basically.
If you're in the audience or you're watching at home and you're like, Liquid versus Gaimin, I've never seen that match before. That is the ultimate self-report that you've not followed Dota for 2 years.
Yeah.
So don't say that around your friends that you're trying to impress, unless you're trying to impress them with how much other stuff you do aside from watching Dota.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. If you have a life, congratulations.
Yep.
You're in the minority here, for sure.
Right,
so this
let's
bot
insult
lane,
the audience again. The Sunspan classic. Disruption into Torrent. But they're not going to pursue.
There it is. As we have concoction from Duraccio with the acid spray being laid down for Ramses. Just a little bit of harassment back and forth. Already 2 stacks of Shadow Poison from Saksa, though, onto Celery. And the third will connect. He's going to pop the stick. Blood Grenade applied as well. Not able to get the 4th, though, as Saksa eventually run down. And Celery will take a bit of damage here, but should be able to survive. So first blood for Gaimin again.
And I would say a little bit of an unexpected one of the kind. This was not the first lane I was expecting to see a kill in, and if it were, it would maybe have been potentially on the Enigma. But yeah, as the side of Tundra, got to be a little bit careful with throwing out all your spells just to harass, because you're opening a counterplay possibility for the Alchemist immediately there. And they will take advantage of that. So probably lesson learned here for the side of Saksa and Ramses. But unfortunately, when you're playing against an Alchemist Enigma lane, just getting that level 3 on Enigma is already a very big deal. And he's managed to do this without too much of an issue. So I think once again, Gaimin are going to be pretty happy with the start that they've had.
So from Tundra's perspective, what is their, like, I don't want to say time limit. We're going to see a bit of Malice applied. Oh, okay, nice snowball to mitigate some of this, but they're both going to get rooted again. Big scat about to follow. Pure now on the run. But Whitemon will have his fat body in the way, so no harm done in the end.
What do you think about Drow attacking Underlord and his health bar moving 1%? Do you think that's...
Think of Ace as a player, Cinder. I actually think of Underlord. I know he plays a lot of heroes, but Underlord's, like, for some reason, his signature that I think of.
I would agree with that in particular because it's the hero he plays the most that others don't, right? I think that's why it stands out, is that he prioritizes it so much more than every other team in this tournament. And there was, I also think a part of it is when Gaimin kind of made a name for themselves, Underlord was one of their pocket strategies in the beginning, and then it just became a standard strategy that everybody came to expect. But it was one of the, I believe it was one of the first, I'm blanking on which tournament it was. It was when the it was when we got the bigger map, I think.
Yeah.
They ran this almost immediately with great success because he has a global ability and he is able to farm a lot, buy auras, and take advantage of all of this new potential.
Yeah, Fiend's Gate has really changed how this hero, well, not really. It's changed the way the hero plays in the mid game where you're actually transitioning to other lanes as opposed to before. I feel like it was more of a getaway. You'd rarely see it used.
Yeah.
The old ult, which I can't, it was Dark Rift, actually, I do believe. But of course, Cinderin had a great idea for an ult for Underlord, sent it to Ice Frog, and they put it in the game.
Which it turns out someone else had that idea 10 years earlier on the Play Dota forums, but you know, I'll take credit.
That's what they tell you to make you feel bad. It was all you.
All right, you're a good friend.
Fine.
Occasionally.
Pure, okay.
You really try.
Dyrachyo.
Classic Dyrachyo gets
and that's going to be a stun on himself. It's Pure going to get cooked by Shards. Shards going to force Gaimin away. And Pure, he's taking a decent amount of damage, but more rotations come from Soxa and company. So this little wraparound from Gaimin not able to find a kill.
Really good play from both teams, to be honest.
You mentioned this matchup. Ramses is 50-14 versus Dyrachyo's 31-5.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think it would be this bad. That's pretty crazy.
Fortunately, Quinn has a haste run and he'll go kill the enemy carry, so Dyrachyo's still far ahead of Pure.
Gaimin cookied up. He's got the snowball. Yeah. Onto the siege. But he is surrounded and will eventually be killed off. Only question is who will get credit for it. It will be Ace. And now the tier 1 tower is next.
Straight back to mid for Quinn. Job well done. He got 2 kills on the bottom lane, and now he's going to get back to defend his tower and farm. Easily top net worth in the game. Maybe Moon inspired him a lot with that great speech. Moon has been known for his speeches.
Oh, yeah.
And he really lit a fire onto Quinn, saying he's bad at this hero because he's only level 6.
Yeah, Quinn definitely heard that through the soundproof.
That's a fair point, but sometimes you just feel the vibe. You know, he saw Moon. Okay, he saw Moon walk out. You know how it tends to go in a lot of their games.
Yeah.
But I will say, in comparison to the previous game, as I mentioned, the nature of the strategies are very different, and I wonder if Gaimin can still find this balling up window. They're going to be relying on a different nature of building the auras. As the panel talked about, Celery can buy them on Enigma, but I think it's likely he'll get them slower than on Chen. He won't have that global heal, which is an addition to that aura strategy. Instead now of the Brood, they're running the Underlord, which I would say on average farms slower than Brood, so I think it's a bit of a plan B as well. So all in all, probably not going to hit the exact same window, but it could still be the same trajectory just 5 minutes later. And Tundra will do everything in their power to try to avoid that. Currently, what Thompson's doing mid is very good for that.
That's
almost taking the mid-tier tier 1 tower on the puck, minute 9.
Drinking buddies with the coil attached. Oh, he actually does not break it. He's still in the high ground. The snowball does secure the kill, but Ace has come in with the Pit of Malice now onto Gaimin, who's eventually going to get chased out, so it will likely just be a 1-for-1 trade.
Here's your shovel! Dig!
That's a Firestorm, and the Necro Book will assist.
In case you don't know what that is, it says that it summons Necronomicon units, and it's on you to Google what that means. That's right. That's very, very unusual. So took good advantage of the fact that Quinn was rotating to put some pressure on the tower and just never left. He's kept pushing this tower the whole time. He's still 1,000 gold behind the Sand King, which I find quite surprising, but you know, it's Sand King, so maybe I shouldn't be surprised that even though you have barely left your lane on the puck.
It's Quinn Sand King, as Moon put it, right? It's Gaimin. He's going to break this smoke, Tofu and Quinn. Okay, he actually puts down a ward as well.
Oh, he walks into them.
Yeah, they see him in the trees. Can he juke? Oh, Burrow Strike missed.
He can.
Quinn Sand King, as the great Moon Meander once said 10 minutes ago.
You learn this stun on level 10 as Sand King. I don't mean hero level, but of course Dota Plus level.
Yeah, Dota Plus.
Very unfortunate he was actually level 10. That made the joke really bad.
I was going to say, I think Silver is level. There's Moon Meander on the bottom right. We have a gank here. Quinn, he's going to get the Burrow Strike correctly used here, as Gaimin will take a tumble.
It was just a setup to bait more heroes to rotate and then make the same play again.
And Thompson, just being a bit of an annoyance, will use the Illusory Orb to jaunt away. So he's going for the Witchblade. You can see Dyrachyo, obviously the Alchemist Radiance, no big surprise. I mean, I guess last game was kind of up in the air what Thompson wanted to go for just because it was a mid, but position 1 pretty much always going to be Radiance.
Now on the other side, you mentioned the Kunkka. He's top net worth in the game over an Alk who has 70 CS minute 11. So Ramses has got 125, including 2 massive stacks in their own area. So really prioritizing getting an early pipe on him. And it seems to be the mindset here for Tundra. Similar to previous game, just that in the sense that they want to defend their towers. But I think this time around, Ramses can find a much bigger impact with how good of an early start he has. You add the rum to that from the Ghost Ship. And they have some amazing teamfight combos with the puck plus coil.
Speaking of coil, will be used. Toxin's already kind of low on HP as the gate's coming. Mortimer's Kisses doing a decent amount of work. As Ramsey's going to get stuck inside of the pit. The burrow strike will be there as well. He gets drinking buddies though, and Saksa will self-disrupt. Likely will fall here at the black hole comes from Celery. That's the death of Saksa, and Ramsey's probably next on the list. Indeed he is. And they even find Thompson on the other side. So Gaimin Gladiators, they look at their HP. Like nobody's even damaged here basically. It's a 3 for nothing.
You've got to be super careful with fight selection. They have some good skirmishing heroes, but yeah, as you said, the damage isn't really the best just yet. Puck needs the Witchblade. You ideally need a couple more levels on the Shadow Demon and the Tusk to pull this off. And when you're playing offlane utility Kunkka with pipe first, this hero doesn't deal good damage. That was a 5-on-4. Pure never joined, so they're missing that carry output.
6k now after one fight. It snowballs really fast.
Yeah.
The Rachio, Sacred Relic in tow, just about 100 away from finishing.
Actually,
Full Radiant.
has it. I wonder why maybe he's waiting for the TP scroll as well, I guess. But yeah, that's going to be a 13-minute Radiant. It's not the fastest, but it's solid. And overall, the game is fine.
Goes off the X. The Torrent did not hit, but they should have enough damage. Obviously, Celery without the black hole still.
It's a
Charge block him in.
slow kill, though. Still.
Yeah, they just don't have damage, do they?
Is second consideration. I think any lineup where you're planning for minute 40 is a mistake. Once the 20-minute goal has been achieved, then you can start planning for minute 40. And well, right now, came in with a 7,000 goal lead, and the dive here.
Spotted. Concoction's coming forward with the burrow strike and the epicenter. Nice disruption from Saksa. Gonna mitigate a ton of that damage. The Kunkka's stuck inside the pit though, and Saksa's facing the rain of Duracho, who eventually run him down. Ramses is actually the first to fall though, as Saksa somehow living this long, but not for much longer. So it is 2 kills for Gaimin.
I don't think Saksa meant to disrupt the Sand King there. I think he actually misclicked and wanted to disrupt the Kunkka because the Epicenter as well as the Sandstorm were still running.
Yeah, I mean, Pin of Malice against any mobility hero is so hard to deal with.
It's a problem when the highlights for Tundra right now is not dying. I was like, that was a good play because Puck got away. Yeah, that really seems to be the state of the game. Pure, let's see if he can make a good play and escape this one.
Yeah, he's going to attempt to be out. The burrow strike from Quinn and the scatter blast eviscerates him.
Thompson already
Thompson will have to use his coil in retreat. He's going to take a drinking buddies and run away.
The fact that he jaunted already is going to force him to use ult. So now they don't have that either if they were ever planning on anything. I suppose with the current game state and their inability to fight, I guess it doesn't really matter that much having the key cooldown on that. In a lot of other situations, that would have been a bigger deal.
Oh boy,
where are they going?
5-man gate to kill Saksa! Get wrecked! They really hate him! And now the mid lane, they will try to push their advantage even more. They haven't even gone for the first Roche yet. This has just spiraled out of control. Quinn gonna force Thompson out again. And he now has
Ramsey's top as well. I wonder if there's going to be any rotation here. This is going to be a quite long chase, but they're going to start it off with a pit. TP coming in from Sand King and out from the south.
Yeah, Ramses. And Quinn has now made his way over. This should be the death of Ramses again.
Surrounded
actually uses his boats. But yeah, Tundra. Ooh, this is looking really rough. I was expecting, I mean, obviously it could get turned around here, but ever since we mentioned that Pure was the best player in this tournament, Cinderin.
You should have never said it.
You agreed with me. You're part of this curse.
That's what friends do.
Yeah.
Like, do I look good in this shirt? Yeah, you do. But
Black Hole ensures yet another kill. Whitemon tried for some sort of a save, but he might just get run down as well. Meanwhile, they're just dropping like flies. Epicenter not going to do that much damage because of the disruption as Pure trying to keep Quinn at arm's length. But his arms are really gangly and long, Cinderin. He's going to get the burrow strike and the kill.
Good opportunity to learn.
He has ridiculous wingspan.
What if Gaimin were tricking everyone the whole tournament into banning their second best strategy? And now they gave them their best strategy by banning all their heroes.
The kisses come from very far away. Quinn with a double kill. My goodness, this is not even remotely close. What happened? This is the upper bracket semis.
Yep.
Gaimin are making Tundra look just awful. But Gaimin, they are just on another level right now, it feels like. They get the tier 3, and now looking for their first set of racks at 19 minutes. No Roche even attempted yet, by the way.
They feel invincible. They're just way too
feel
tanky
like
on
they
their
are.
cards. Sand King Bloodstone, you put a Solar Crest on him, you have Underlord next to him with Greaves. You have Glimmer on the Snapfire. The Alchemist himself already has a Manta as well, so he has a self-dispel when he gets jumped on to be in front and cause confusion. I mean, it's like a broken record, but genuinely, Tundra cannot fight. It's just not possible. So what do you do? This is the catch-22 you face yourself with in a lot of Gaimin Gladiators games is, well, when the early game goes poorly and you reach this mid game and you can't fight them, what is your plan actually?
Yeah.
Are you going to play keep away and try to out-farm them and just dodge them? Are you even going to be able to match their farming speed in that case because they control 75% of the map? Are you going to just YOLO into a fight and hope for the best? What if they never split up so you can't get a skirmish?
Oh boy.
Pure
Gets stunned. Whitemon doing a nice job of blocking off one hero, but the problem is there's many others to contest with. That's going to be 2 quick kills again for Gaimin. It is 19 to 2.
To play catch up. In this game, unlikely to happen, but of course, this is an upper bracket match, so you have a second shot. As Tundra, unless you pull off the most ridiculous comeback of this tournament while being down 20k Goldman at 21.
Yeah.
Unless you can somehow find this way. The silver lining is there's a lot of tape to study, a lot to learn, and arguably this is more than likely going to be the hardest matchup you're playing until you might meet them again ultimately.
Most likely, that is correct. Duracia, okay. Do they have the damage to kill him off? Makes timing, and now the runaround is here. Quinn, the Epi, gonna slow Ramses to a crawl. A black hole, everybody's just having their own separate fights, Cinderin. Thompson is dead, Ramses is next. And Celery eventually will fall. That is the 3rd kill for Tundra now. Soxa gets beat down to a pulp. And it looks like Pure and Company will just have to try and run away. As Whitemon inside. Okay. Double buybacks. They absolutely have to get a kill here on a core hero. Nice disruption from Soxa to dodge the concoction, but it's going to be probably too little too late. As we do have the 3-2-2, by the way. Let's hear some cheers in the crowd for that. And Pure, there's the gust. Stuck inside to get drinking buddies. Snowball back into it, though he gets rooted again. Oh dear, that is not what you want to see.
It was better than not snowballing. I think they would have both been stunned. Now it was only the Drow that died.
Yeah, screw the drought.
All right.
And Gaimin, again, no Roche attempt in this game. They are not afraid to continue on here. Here comes the boat from Ramses. We're trying to work on this Aghanim Scepter for quite a while, but it is not coming together for him. Punch into the air, Quinn taking very little damage. He's unkillable at this point. Ramses been looted 3 or 4 times in this engagement, it feels like, is the coil already used, and they just stood there because they don't do any damage. And the second Rax is upon Gaimin to claim for themselves. As Tundra can only look on, although Gaimin are backing away. Perhaps a soft reset. Another beautiful Manta, man.
What was that game called where you had to Manta dodge things? Training Polygon? He's been playing that. He's been playing Training Polygon.
All right, so what is your voice line? Since we have plenty of time to talk now, what does your voice line mean exactly?
It means cheers.
It means cheers?
Yes.
Okay, that's something that people hold that thought. Celery, okay. Got a lot of kisses going on. He's actually basically making out with them with so many kisses. Get a room already as Ramses stuck in a horrible position. They're just going to call it GG. Gaimin Gladiators absolutely destroy Tundra 2-0, and they're going to go to the upper bracket finals here at TI to face off against Team Liquid.
And if you showed up in the audience tonight and you were like, man, we have to get dinner before we watch this show, or the restaurants are going to be closed,